Oh, this is quite something.
Preparations for this race would be a little different. Hello, Harry here, and welcome to a Jog On Halloween special. I'm headed to run a spooky 10k, and you guessed it, I'll be dressed as a pumpkin. With the quantity of rainfall increasing, we arrived and parked up for this most mysterious 10k.
You probably can't see that, but there's a skeleton over there taking a selfie. Remind me why we're here? Here we are at Denbies Wine Estate for the Halloween 10k and scary 2k sprint. This is going to be interesting.
Upon walking inside, we were met with a series of fantastically dressed people. Next to others there, I looked absolutely huge. I made friends with a puppy, one of the organisers gave an announcement.
Okay, you're waiting to do that. Loving all of your costumes.
And I opened the door for some runners,
Thank you.
including a man getting a piggyback from a zombie and a woman with a large spider hat.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, what are we doing? This is a little surreal.
We made our way to the start of the 10k.
Watch is zeroed. Those of you who've been watching the videos recently might remember that Chris and I were taking on the FKT challenge, running from Leatherhead to Dorking and back again. Actually came through Denbies Wine Estate up this path.
And we made it to Denbies.
Unbeknownst to me at the time, my toughest competition would come in the form of a lady dressed as Cruella de Vil, being towed by her dog dressed as a Dalmatian. But more on that later. As we began to gather, it dawned on me.
I don't know what the route is, but we're just going to get stuck in, do a 10k. Let's see how it goes.
The man on the microphone was in fact Mike Grattan, a man who won the London Marathon in 1983 in a time of 2 hours, 9 minutes and 43 seconds. Hence the name of the company hosting the race, 209 Events. It struck me how, on a wet, rainy day in a vineyard on Halloween, of all the zombies, witches and vampires around me, I was probably the only one aware of the calibre of runner standing just a few feet away from us. And then, before there was time to change one's mind, we were off.
What is happening?
With the wind and the rain intensifying, we battled our way up the first long slope of the 10k.
Here we go. Halloween 10k. Dressed as a pumpkin.
Costumes fluttering in the gusts, bringing up the rear was another pumpkin.
Heading up through Denbies Wine Estate.
But it did feel
Glorious. I'm sure the face paint will begin to run soon if it hasn't already.
However, there was something I hadn't planned for.
Weirdly, I'm out the front and not sure what to do about it, so I don't know the route. So I've got to hope that this is well marshalled or someone catches me soon.
Pulling the stony path beneath me,
Thank you.
the marshal directed us onto grass marked with a thin mud trail.
The marshals have pointed me in this direction, but I'm not totally sure if I was meant to take a turning a while ago or if this is the right route, but I've picked it. Oh man, this rain is almost like hail now. This is horrendous.
As I moved towards the first kilometre mark, the 2k scary sprint featuring Spider Hat Lady was about to begin. Their route would take them on a smaller loop, beginning just beneath where I was running further up the hill. Louise would later explain to me,
You can see just this orange blob moving across.
with the 2k underway, I was trying to remain calm about having no one to follow.
And I'm just very confused. I'm out the front with no one else around me. Bit of a lonely run so far. Hello? What is this? This is Jog On. This is what this is. No matter what the weather, go for that run.
I hit the bottom corner
Oh, thank you very much.
and was directed left.
This is a bit surreal. There's a lot of hills in this 10k. Whew, big climbs. Shoes are gripping well. Maybe we'll grab a glass of wine on the way around.
Gazing down at the slopes, I checked the watch.
As we approach 1.5 kilometres, you just see the other 10k race is creeping up between the vines, and I'm just hoping I can run 10,000 metres without taking a wrong turn. Thank you, Marshall. Cheers. Look at this. Random ghoulish things hanging in trees and a sense of spookiness, the whole thing. Dressed as a pumpkin, I think. The person in second is a lady being towed by a dog. So I've got to race her and her canine assistant. I'm sure, like me, they're going to look a little bedraggled by the end.
Meanwhile, the 2k scary sprint had hit the same muddy climb I'd been on just moments before, intersecting with some of the other 10k participants. Bursting out of the woods, a marshal signed for me to head right.
Oh, they're sending me up every hill they've got. The vine's sloping up away to my right. It's glorious, muddy and wet. Small streams forming beneath the teeth and lugs of my trail shoes.
I hadn't realised at this point how close Cruella and the dog were behind me now. The 2k racers didn't have far to go, as I found myself
Passing 2 kilometres, even though the sign is folded in half by the wind. I think it's time for the pumpkin hat to come off. My head is getting a little hot now.
Head cooler, I tried to move with the rhythm of the fat costume.
My rather large stomach just bouncing around there.
At the furthest point, the marshal warned me of the steepness of the muddy path.
Wow, this might send a few people over. Thank you. Cheers. Whew. Trying to keep my balance, not get caught by a Dalmatian in Cruella de Vil. Rain's just briefly stopped. How merciful. This is quite something.
2K finishers were now beginning to cross the line.
Let's enjoy it. Still may get caught. I'm a fat pumpkin. It's theirs for the taking. But right now, just setting an okay pace, keeping sure-footed on the dodgy ground underfoot. I probably should have done a bit more research and looked at the course beforehand, but never in my wildest dreams did I think, oh well, I'll probably be leading it, so, you know, just a fat pumpkin, who's going to keep up? Now I'm running out front and hoping I'm going the right way.
And then,
finally, some marshals. Morning. I think I'll be all right. Whoa! He offered me water, but probably grab some on the second lap though. Top up. Lovely. Another hill. Hooray! Well, I think at the top end of that corner, I can just about make out Cruella and the Dalmatian. Yeah, we're at 4K in. I mean, I'll keep my foot on the gas pedal, but no need to go mental right now. This is highly enjoyable. I haven't experienced this in a long time.
But just as I was relaxing into it, disaster. An arrow twisted and toppled by the wind led to confusion over the route.
This is where I don't know where to go. That's pointing that way, so it's got to be... This is the part where I don't know where it goes and how to get there.
The doubt was creeping in.
This is where it gets very difficult. I'm really not sure. I've got to hope this is the correct way. That was not clear at all. Oh no, a lot of these signs have just been blown down. I'm hoping that I've made the correct decision here.
I opted to continue climbing back up to where the marshals were, and to my relief, they pointed me onto the second lap.
Thank you. Cheers.
I had gone the right way.
One of the weirder heckles I've had. Go on, pumpkin. Just passing 5 kilometers. Just going to nip inside 25 minutes for the 5K. So, you know, it's all right. Considering the conditions and the way I'm dressed, which means I've got to do all of that again. Yes, it's a second lap, and amazingly, somehow I did go the right way when I was deciding with that blown over sign what to do. Just going to dig in, keep this up, try and maintain that gap. It's big, so here's hoping that Dalmatian didn't have his pedigree chum this morning, because I certainly haven't had any Weetabix. I've got to show you the backs of my legs. They are muddy.
It was at this point, having finished the 2K sprint, that Louise caught up with me with a camera to see how I was doing.
It's about 5 years since I was in the front position.
That one was like, you're right. I'm trying to catch him up. She was like, oh, good luck.
Louise has just finished the 2K and joined me to get a couple of shots, because of course she's not very tired. This is basically jogging.
I emerged from the woods for the second time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well done, Harry. Keep going. Good work.
And pushed on up the mud-laden track, but had already lost 2 safety pins.
The number is nearly off. It gets lonely again now. No one around. 32 minutes, 47 seconds run, 6.46 kilometers, except that I'm a little overweight and get it done. 7 kilometers. Thank you.
With my trail shoes just emerging from beneath my pumpkin's stomach, I rolled down the steep path.
Oh, these shoes are great. Gripping well on the corners, taking my weight, both me as a 6-foot male and a slightly waterlogged pumpkin costume.
Above me, I observed a change in positions.
Cruella has been overtaken by a man in a tutu. That's going to give me a little extra incentive to push, because I'd really like to retain this place and not get taken by him. So hammer away for a moment, put the hammer down, and let's show him what pumpkins are made of.
Increasing the speed, I put in a concentrated effort to lessen the chance of Tutu Man catching me, past the marshals and water for the second time, and into a headwind with just a few kilometers to go.
Here we go, last couple of kilometers now.
Back up a muddy incline, with my costume getting even heavier as it absorbed more and more moisture.
Those hills are getting tough on the legs. It's Halloween though.
I came across some walkers who must have wondered what on earth I was doing.
Thank you.
I looked so mental, in fact, the dog even dropped his stick.
Cheers, Marshall. This is probably the dodgiest downhill of the course.
Tired legs began to run away from me.
Whoa! Whoa! He's sort of not able to quite keep control of it. Come on. Final bit now. This pumpkin has got heavier and heavier as we run. 9 kilometers in 44.20. Coming up the last of the big hills now. There's the tail end of the first lap up ahead.
This hill up to the final turn was arguably the hardest part of the whole 10K. With both the legs and the desire to maintain first burning strongly, I dug into the soft ground and made it to the top of the home straight.
Straight down, yeah?
The back of the 10K could be seen beginning their second lap.
Thank you.
As I started the descent to the finish line.
Thank you.
From the finish itself, just a faint orange ball could be made out in the distance.
Denbies Halloween 10K by 209 events. Well put on, well marshalled, even if one time was a bit dodgy.
With a final glance over my shoulder, I was confident I wouldn't be caught this late into the race and made a charge for the line.
Smashing it!
My now waterlogged pumpkin stomach rhythmically bouncing with my stride, the feeling of victory began to settle in. The next runner appeared, having dropped the guy in the tutu. It was a man in a dress, taking second place. I got his thoughts on the 10k, and we congratulated each other. Third place was a vampire called Stu.
Go Stu! All the way!
It's a podium finish! Amazing! Beautiful.
Her Dalmatian having slowed from exhaustion, Corella finally appeared.
So the 2k scary sprint, that must have happened for you quite quickly.
Yeah, we had a big hill at the start. We saw you fly past.
Fly? I'm not sure I was flying, but thank you.
Congratulations.
Look at that.
We went to collect the prize,
This is too much.
which turned out to be wine, sweets, and a medal.
Thoroughly surprised to have come in first place during that 10k. I never thought dressed as a fat, chubby pumpkin that would ever happen. One of the prizes of the 10k was a bag of sweets, which includes things such as eyeballs. I'm Harry, and this is JOG ON. Driving back just as the sky turns blue and the sun starts to poke the stun.
Yeah.
Driving back just as the sky goes. Driving back just as the sky goes. Hang on, no. Driving back from the 10k just as the sky starts to turn. I can't get this out.
The sky doesn't turn blue, by the way. The clouds move apart and it reveals the sky. Just
Are you in charge of
saying.
scripts? No, I've got the face paint on. Just driving back. Oh, God. Driving back now from the 10k as the clouds part. For God's sakes. Driving back now as the clouds part. This blue sky coming out. You're making me overthink it now. I'm like a bloody weatherman.
Just say the sun's shining.
Driving back now from the 10k as the stun. The stun starts. I can't get it. Driving back now from the 10k as the sun starts to come out from behind the clouds. A shame that we had such bad weather earlier on, but still, it added only to the surrealism and the drama. I'm Harry Morgan. Happy Halloween, and this is JOG ON.